Thank you very much. It's wonderful to be here. Good afternoon, everyone. So about 7 years ago, I started Open Learning with David Cullion, my CTO is in the audience, and a professor from the University of New South Wales. And since then, Open Learning has grown to support over 1.6 million unique students, over 2.5 million enrollments around the world. We've grown from just a few education providers to over 55 paying education providers now on the platform, and many hundreds and thousands of educators who've joined us since then. Now, since we started, we've raised about $16 million. We've expanded across Southeast Asia, and we now have the #1 position in Australia and Malaysia as the lifelong learning platform. And the reason for this is because there's a number of changes occurring across society today. In particular, people are now realizing that they might have to completely retrain in order to stay employable. In fact, 74% of all people in Australia are willing to do so. In Malaysia, 70% of semi-skilled jobs are actually at risk of a high risk of automation. And around the world, if existing technology were to be applied to all jobs, all fields today, about 50% of people would be impacted. These significant changes are actually driving a significant change in the way people actually look at education, the way they consume education, and the amount and the number and the style of courses that they take. Once upon a time, even for many of us probably, we used to just look at university, just look at education as something we did once in our lives. We do a university degree, maybe an undergraduate, a bachelor's degree, then 10 years later, 15 years later, we go and study a master's degree. But now we've moved from sort of a once-in-a-life model to a lifelong learning model. Students who are just out of university are looking to take courses to help them upskill. So what Open Learning is doing is we're providing a next-generation online learning platform that enables education providers to take advantage of this opportunity and meet the challenges of the world today. And it includes a few key components. One is the Open Learning platform, which enables institutions to do the end-to-end of education delivery, effectively launch their education business online. And that includes everything from marketing their course to people around the world, through to actually collecting payment for the course, enrolling the students, tracking the student's work, delivering the course materials, and then assessing and certifying the student and issuing them micro-credentials, so badges and certificates. And after all of that, all of the data that's generated in the platform automatically goes into a portfolio of learning. And students these days are now taking this portfolio and showing it to potential employers to demonstrate the skills that they've developed. So the key components of the Open Learning solution are actually, in one case, the marketplace, which is OpenLearning.com, which has become a global destination for education. The platform itself, which focuses on a new style of learning and teaching online, which focuses around project-based learning. So most online learning today, if anyone here has taken online courses before, a lot of them actually might be quite boring. In many cases, they're just a video and a quiz, and you watch the video, you do the quiz, and they say, hey, you got 9 out of 10, and here's a certificate. I actually got a certificate from a healthcare provider in Australia doing that on a topic I can't even pronounce, because all I had to do was pass the quiz. But what Open Learning focuses on is really what's called social constructivism, which is the idea that students learn best when they're intrinsically motivated, when they're solving problems, when they're working together, when they're collaborating with other people. And the Open Learning platform is specially designed to enable this style of education. And the skills that you can develop through that kind of education include everything from critical and analytical and computational thinking skills through to any engineering, business, health, and in many other topics around the world. So since we started, Open Learning has grown significantly, and today we've issued over 800,000 micro-credentials through the platform. Over 1.6 million students have interacted over 27 million times, and this includes everything from micro-interactions, such as discussing and liking and sharing ideas, through to more in-depth interactions, such as reflecting on each other's work, providing feedback, helping each other solve problems, and getting to know each other online. Now, the opportunity for what we're doing is significant. If you think of all the education providers in Australia and around the world, a lot of them are still delivering face-to-face. In fact, even the ones that are delivering online are usually doing it through a range of different systems. They might have an old-school learning management system delivering content online. They probably have a payment system, an enrollment system, student management system. All of these tools are really just cobbled together. Whereas Open Learning provides a turnkey solution to education providers to build a new kind of education business entirely online in a matter of days without any risk instead of years. So in Australia alone, in our two key markets, Australia and Malaysia, there are almost 20,000 education providers that are currently delivering education, and the vast majority have not moved online at all, and if they have, they haven't done it in this kind of project-based social learning style. So from our base in Australia, we expanded into Malaysia about 4 years ago, and from there we service all of the Southeast Asian market as well. And over the past 7 years, we've worked with a whole range of institutions, everyone from the top universities in the world. So in Australia, we work with 9 of the 43 universities in the country. Our clients include UNSW, University of Melbourne, Western Sydney, UTS. We also work across the education field, so everyone from corporate and government. So ASIC, AIS, even the Central Bank of Malaysia are clients of ours. And since we expanded into Malaysia 4 years ago, we've become the national platform for all public institutions of higher learning, enabling them to deliver courses with tens of thousands of people across the country. But this is just the beginning. We're now seeing industry associations looking to move online and deliver their courses through Open Learning so they can actually reach more students and generate more revenue. For the past 7 years, we've grown the business in a range of areas, but for the first 5 years, we actually focused on building out the technology, building out the brand, building up use cases and case studies with our clients, and working quite closely with our university partners to make sure that the Open Learning platform actually delivers something fundamentally different to what they can get from other systems and other tools around the world. Now, a couple years ago, we introduced a software as a service model, and in the past 6 months, we shut down our freemium model, and now everyone who wants to use Open Learning, every education provider, has to sign up on commercial terms on our software as a service agreements. In the past 18 months, we've grown from just a handful of paying SaaS clients to 55. And this is a very sticky product. Once institutions get on board, they start off on a usage-based plan, and usage will increase, and they'll keep using the platform because it delivers significant value for them. We had one private higher education provider who joined in the second quarter of this year. They've already doubled their investment in Open Learning in 2 months by moving onto the platform, building out 2 in-demand courses, and then launching those into the market and generating a significant amount of revenue from them. On top of this, our user base has continued to grow. So what we see now is that the Open Learning marketplace is enabling our partners to attract students around the world, and a lot of these students are actually coming back and taking multiple courses through Open Learning. This might be from industry associations offering multiple courses through the platform, or it could also be an individual student who decides to enroll in a course from UTS and then also sees one they like from UNSW or Charles Sturt University. Around the world, there's only a handful of platforms delivering this end-to-end solution. And we see in the US, these include Coursera, edX, Udacity. In the UK, it includes FutureLearn. But Open Learning is quite unique compared to all of these platforms. And we're unique in a few ways. One is geography. These platforms are based in the US and the UK, and although they're global from a student's perspective, so you can go onto any of these sites and take courses from any provider that offers courses through the platform, from an education provider's perspective, you actually need to work with someone who understands your needs and can deliver education in your market in line with the accreditation requirements of that market and leveraging your brand and your position in that market. So although these platforms are global, we find that they actually normally have quite a strong base in their home market. On top of that, the quality of the education, the quality of the content, and what these platforms enables is worlds apart. On Coursera, on edX, on FutureLearn, the focus is really on content delivery, taking the existing content from the university, uploading it online, and selling it to students. And in many cases, students are buying the brand, not the education. On Open Learning, the platform is designed to transform the style of learning and teaching that the university delivers, help them redesign their programs so that they're more project-based, so that they combine reflection, sharing, interaction, discussion. And through that, the students actually are more likely to meet the outcomes that the course is meant to deliver, and students will have a much more enjoyable experience as they go through that. And the third difference is the business model. The rest of the platforms are focused on a revenue share model, which means they're highly dependent on the students coming to those courses from the university and their ability to sell and market those courses. And that's quite risky for 2 reasons. One is the university usually doesn't want to share the highest value courses with those providers because they don't want to share most of the revenue. Open Learning, on the other hand, is a software as a service model. We work with any institution around the world. So whereas Coursera and FutureLearn will only work with top-ranked research universities, so out of those 20,000 education providers in Australia and Malaysia, probably only a couple dozen fit the criteria to work with one of these major overseas platforms. Open Learning is capable of working with all of them. even in the Australian market, when some of these institutions, some of these platforms, so Coursera, edX, FutureLearn, even the universities they're already working with in Australia, we work with them as well. So they aren't mutually exclusive. But really what universities like about open learning is the fact that it delivers this transformative style of education, and it does so in a model that's very friendly to the university's needs and enables them to scale up as much as they need to. So, for example, some universities are running a whole range of courses, everything from 1 or 2 hour long short courses, professional development courses, through to fully online master's degrees, all on the open learning platform. Our pricing model is very simple and straightforward. It's based on the number of learners that are taking courses from the education providers that are using the platform. So a university, for example, starts off at about $24,000 a year plus GST for 5,000 learners. We also have individuals who are capable of coming onto the platform and building out their own courses for up to 250 students. So the top 2 plans we consider our enterprise, our B2B offering, and on those 2 we have 55 clients. On the bottom 2, we have about 430 clients who are paying for the platform. And out of those, about 30 to 40% are actually from the US, UK, and Canada. So the platform has global appeal, even though we're focused on this region. So where we are today is we've invested over the years in building out the technology, building our brand, building the user base, and now we're investing in sales and marketing for growth. We've been able to get ourselves to a position where universities, corporate, government, are happy to work with us on a software as a service model. And now we're just going across the country and investing in sales and marketing to increase the number of education providers on the platform. And in many ways, we're doing that through a number of key initiatives, everything from acquiring new institutions onto the platform, but also increasing usage from the existing institutions. So that includes some institutions who started off on our $24,000 plan last year, and in 1 year they've doubled their usage and doubled the amount that they're paying for the platform. We also have an industry-leading management team running the company. In Australia, our managing director, Sheree Diaz, was formerly from Study Group. She was also helped run AIM and Ivy colleges through their merger, and she was head of education at AICD. She's got experience across the end-to-end, from everything from being a principal of a school through to corporate and professional development and higher education. David Cullion, my co-founder and CTO, knows how to talk to academics on their level, and he impresses them every time. But also he understands how to actually apply educational philosophy through technology. And our head of finance, Swat, was previously the CFO of Parks and Retail, which is the largest department store chain in Southeast Asia, which is listed on SGX. So that's us. Feel free to get in touch with our team and come to our website to find out more information. And we'd love to hear from you if you have any questions or suggestions. Thank you very much.